Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of May 13th, where this week I really do like it because we're going to start the week off coming in with Mercury coming out of its post-retrograde shadow time, which is a really big deal. It means that the energies can start to move on and move forward this week. So that's a really lovely energy. We're also going to see that Aries is going to go retrograde this week. And I think it's really Aries has this interesting place on the astro stage for me right now. And I think for all of us, because it's really about how we are nurturing the things that are developing within us and the structures that are developing in our lives into existence. So pretty much for everyone, it's taking us back to look at how even we were nurtured, right? So there's a big story going on with that, especially because we're going to see Pluto, who's already retrograde, get back into the vibration of Capricorn, where Aries is at right now. So we really will be looking at some things, but I'll talk all about that in just a minute. Now, we do have one aspect this week that I cannot wait to talk about, because I actually think that we get the opportunity to uncover, discover, and discard some piece of really critical information that we've needed in order to make a decision or take an action and move forward. And if you listen to your monthly horoscope, you will know that I was telling you, between like the 14th, 15th, all the way to the 18th, do it. Do it, do it, do it. Well, you get some of that this week. So it really is a week where I think the energies are varied, but really I think we have an opportunity to use them in ways that help us advance and help us do some clearing. So it's going to be a good week, I think. All right, now if we've never met before, I am Stormie Grace. I'm a practicing professional astrologer, and I practice through the lens of evolutionary and humanistic astrology. So if you like that kind of content, and that's a lens that is fascinating to you, then I would love for you to join us. Hit the subscribe button. Definitely like this video if you get any value from it, but join our tribe here. We're the Soulmate Family Tribe. If you like to talk about astrology, you're looking for some help and you want to evolve, you want to know yourself better, you would like to understand the sky and where the callings and the useful energies of pockets of energy are at, then that's what we have to provide for you on this channel. So definitely stick around, hang out. I would love to have you. Now, if you are one of our more serious astro people and you're ready to take it to the next level, I would love for you to come learn astrology with me. You can grab the Astrology 101 and 102 bundles, and they're $25 right now. You get a lot of content, 12 hours of astro study taught by me, but I would also love to see you live, person to person, at least in the Zoom world, right? We start in June, and we're going to be starting from the ground up. So if you are new here, if you have gaps in your knowledge, you want to learn your basics, starting in June, we've got the Astrology 101 Foundations course, and you can get registered for that in the description box down below. And I cannot wait to see you. I'll be there live with you. Okay, friends, let's talk about what's going on this week. And remember that in the description box down below are all of your timestamps for every day, so you can just go to what you need to hear. Now, as we are coming in this week on Monday, first of all, I like the vibe on Monday because even though Monday is a moon day, a day ruled by the moon, right? So we've got this changeable nature quality just to Monday in general. But the moon that we're experiencing here, we come in very early morning on Monday. So depending on where you are and what you're up doing, the moon is actually in the position of void of course. So in the very beginning of the day, we don't have a lot going on. I'm talking early morning. So if you are not up before 5 a.m., don't worry about it. Before 5 a.m. is your void of course moon time, where the energy is flat. We are not really working on anything. But after that, what we're going to see is that the moon moves into the vibration of Leo. So I like it. It tells us that we are starting this week out spirited, right? Because Leo is not this like, don't see me, don't look at me energy. It's that big lion energy. So we're coming in quite extroverted to the week, and coming in also with the energy of the sun. So we're here having a sun-ruled moon, which is basically the same as having a new moon. So we really have this new moon vibration as we're coming in on Monday. The point being to that is that when the luminaries are dancing together or they are in each other's vibration, anything's possible. So beyond just planting your seeds of intention for what you would like to begin here on Monday, what you're working on, taking even extroverted steps towards those things, then you also have the added value of having Mercury coming out of its post-retrograde shadow time here on Monday. So everything that you've been working on, focusing on, had your attention going on since March of 2024, okay, so just since March, now you can make those decisions. It's done. You may have the pieces that you need. You can move everything forward. And then you have this internal, beautiful moon courage to help you get it done. Now, we're also going to see on Monday that we have got Uranus coming into conjunction with the sun. And I will tell you, I think that that is really, really brilliant. Now, first of all, when we have the sun and Uranus coming into conjunction with one another, conjunctions have like a 50-50 opportunity. It can be an explosion, right? It literally can be an explosion. If you're talking about mundane astrology, we can see things being explosions. We can see things catching on fire. We can see things being more dangerous. So I would always, say just be mindful in your house. Definitely unplug the curling iron if that's a thing, right? Make sure it's unplugged. But in a different lens to the other side of it can be that your consciousness kind of blows open and you're like, whoa. I am like, you become aware of something that you needed to know, and it's self-awareness because it's here with the sun. You become aware of it and you're like, I know this without a doubt now, and I know how to move this forward. So this is some of that do it energy that I was telling you about this week. You're becoming open-minded. Like you're like, listen, what I've been doing wasn't working, or the way I was thinking about something or acknowledging something, I see it in a completely different way. So it's this real spark of enthusiasm and open-mindedness. And this is where I want to tell you, all week for sure, please make room in your heart, in your life, in your mental space, in your finances and relationships. Make room for your life and the universe to surprise and delight you, because this is definitely one of those aspects that will make something like that happen. It's absolutely brilliant. Okay, now that's not it. That's not all the sweet dolces we've got for Monday. When we're getting to about mid-afternoon, okay, we're going to see that transiting Venus is now in a sextile to Saturn. And this sextile is actually really good because, first of all, it's this idea that Venus is about what you value. So something in terms of what you want to attract to yourself. You value this, your relationships, your finance, your friendships, right? It's what you value and you want to attract to you. In a sextile to Saturn, who's over in Pluto in Pisces, you have this place where you're like, I'm really willing to commit to this. I see it clearly. I'm willing to not talk about it anymore, but be about it and attract this thing to me. But the attraction is about a coupling in some way. So maybe you want to attract companionship to you. Maybe you want to attract finances that you feel like you're ready to value yourself around. What is it that you're calling in and you're attracting to you? Now, where I also love this energy is that if you have existing partnerships, and I'm not just talking romantic partnerships, it can be with friends, it can be with business partnerships, it can be with your own business, it can be with yourself. If you already have an existing relationship going on, Venus sextile Saturn can almost be this space where you're like, okay, I see how I have to serve this relationship in order for it to be able to grow and how it has to be able to thrive. And you're willing to commit to it. There's this heavy commitment energy, but you're doing it willingly. Nobody's forcing you. You're happy to make this decision. So wherever this is, wherever this Venus and Taurus is at for you, whatever house that lights up in your particular chart, look at it. Where are you saying, I am willing, ready, and able to happily make this commitment? Because I think that's a delicious place to look at it. Okay, on Tuesday, love it. Ceres is going retrograde in the vibration of Capricorn. Now, if you're newer here or if you've been with me for a while, I don't always talk a lot about the asteroids, but this one I think is playing a particularly strong purpose on the stage because we also saw the role that Ceres has been playing in all of this Taurus vibration, which is long-standing, earthy, fixed energy, right? So it's been in trine, having conversation with not only this new moon that happened in Taurus, but Ceres was also welcome to the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that we have. So what was seeded in for us to begin to build something really valuable, really solid, and that can last us 14, 15 years, it's also done at the vibration of Ceres. Now, Ceres is, when we think about this, this asteroid, it's about mothering. The way that you were mothered or you were nurtured, I think nurturing is a better word, the way you were nurtured, the way you need to be nurtured, the way you nurture things, right? So, and it's a story of nurturing that's not just like, I just need to be loved for being me. No, it's like when you are hurting, when you are down, when you are in the deep grief of your personal winter, like your moment, your personal winter where you're like, I feel lost. I feel loss. I feel grief. I feel there is change and I'm powerless to it. How do you nurture yourself? What do you surround yourself? What were you taught that you're even allowed to nurture yourself with, to understand that the grief and the loss is always followed by renewal? Like, what is your process for getting there? Because just the way that you're going to look at and go back into your life and say, what was my relationship like with my mother? How did my mother teach me to nurture? And how is that showing up in how I nurture now? Just as much as you're looking at it from that perspective, it's also going to be, how are you nurturing new projects into your life? You know, Ceres retrograde, the influence here is a time to recommit yourself in Capricorn to nurturing the restructuring and the reorienting of nurturing into your life. And these are really important concepts that you're going to work with, okay? Now, we've also got this energy where Pluto is retrograde in the energy of Aquarius, but it's going to come retrograde and back up into the same vibration of Capricorn. So not only isn't the story of going back with Ceres to like, how did your mother nurture you? How are you nurturing things into your life? But how did your society nurture stories into you? And what does that look like in your life today? How are you carrying those forward? The other place that I think that this is really, really impactful, and I would really encourage you to watch the Pluto retrograde video that I did so that you get more of a view of what this Pluto retrograde has really got going on for us, is this idea that we've seen a world that we've never seen before as a globe. And it's a vibration that none of us have ever held before. So with it comes a certain amount of uncertainty in how do I change? What do I need to do? How do I make this stop? There's like a lack of surety that can come with it because we've never been in it. And now as Pluto is taking this retrograde, we're going to look at really truly when it gets back to Capricorn, all of these old, worn out, limiting structures that don't work for us anymore. Now, that being paired with this Ceres energy is going to be the way that you nurture, yourself, the way you nurture in your societies. These have to be looked at because some of them don't work anymore. So I think that the Ceres retrograde, which Ceres will be retrograde until August, okay? So we've got some time that we're going to be continuing to look at that and how we work with that particular energy. I would love to know if you work with Ceres on a regular basis, which Martha Clark, our astrocartography lady, which we did a video on astrocartography, she works a lot with Ceres in your astrocartography. So if you work with Ceres a lot, I would love to hear your thoughts about Ceres playing a role in the comment section down below. Okay, let's get over here to Wednesday. Now, Wednesday the 15th, brilliant. We have got this first quarter moon, and it's going to be happening at 25 degrees of Leo. So make sure you grab your chart and look at that 25 degrees of Leo. Now, this is a first quarter moon. So you're taking action. You have already planted your seeds of intention back in August 16th of 2023. So go back to your journals, go back to your Facebook, go back to your Instagram. What were you doing at that time? Because you planted seeds of intention to begin something, but not just to begin anything. You planted seeds of intention to begin something into your life that was really important, really valuable to you. You love it. It holds your space of expression. It is like, this is me in my fullness. So what did you plant your seeds of intention around? Because you had to plant your seeds of intention then and kind of wait a little bit. You're like, I planted cucumbers. I hope these are cucumbers at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of plant and wait. But now, as we're here at this first quarter time, action. We are in for action. So remember, I told you at the beginning of this video, this is the week. Do it. Do it as long as it is non-harmful, as long as it is safe and it is sane. Do it, right? Because here is where you are in the position of taking your action steps. Now, the next time we're going to check on this is actually going to be February 12th of 2025 when we get to the full moon that's going to be happening in Leo. So whatever you start and you're working on right now, first of all, remember that people, places, and things and old ideas are going to be falling out of your life so fast right now if they are not needed to travel forward on the journey. And then when we get to that full moon, we'll check in, we'll acknowledge everything you have done. We'll celebrate what you have built, where you have been, and we're also going to pivot any place you need to continue to keep the dream and the vision and the project going. It's a brilliant energy, so don't miss out on it. I mean it. Grab your chart and go back to 25 degrees of Leo. What house is this for you? What did you start at these particular times? Okay. Now, we're not done there. We're going to see that the moon is going to head into some void, of course, later in the day. It's not a terribly long void, of course. We're going to go from about 10 a.m. till 3:30-ish in the afternoon. So not terribly long, but because the energies have been so much more palpable, I feel like, since Pluto got into Aquarius, you may be feeling the void of course moon times more intensely. I know that I am. It is literally like the wind gets sucked out. My attitude has changed and I kind of get a little hopeless, or I feel like, it comes on, it just kind of seeps in here a little bit. So I want to remind you that the void of course times are real. But also what you can do with them is remember, this is not the time for me to be pushing, starting anything new. It's just the time for rest, put it down, or to finish something that you've been working on, but pace yourself. You're not going to get a new idea. Maybe you get old information that's revealed to you, but the new idea, making big old decisions during a void of course moon period, don't do it then. All these other times, like do it, but not if the moon is void of course, okay? All right, now around this void of course moon, we've also got Mercury moving into the vibration of Taurus, and I think that honestly, we'll be a little bit thrilled about it. I do. I think we'll be a little bit thrilled about it because Mercury's been traveling through the vibration of Aries for quite some time. And then we saw the retrograde. So it's been there for a while. But Mercury and Aries were a bit more impulsive. And it's like now. Quick thinking. You're working more on your instincts. And as Mercury gets into the vibration of Taurus, we slow down. Now, first of all, it's great because the things that you started, your thinking that started, even if it was a conception or an idea or a conversation, it was just starting. In Taurus, things slow down and start to become, you get some solid planning around it, right? It's like, okay, this is grounded. This is practical. This is what we need to do next. Your mind literally slows down to be able to ground down into how to shape, build, and bring this thing around and about. So we are going to enjoy this particular energy, and we'll have it here all the way until the beginning of June. So eat it up, enjoy the planning process, and think a lot about food. I would really encourage you to do that. Now, just after the void of course moon period, we're going to see the moon move into Virgo. Now, as the moon moves into Virgo, we're going to leave this space of, first of all, being very extroverted in Leo vibration, then to being kind of, the energy is still, it's not really going anywhere. Now we're kicked in a new direction. But remember, the moon in Virgo is an immutable energy. So the direction that we're going now is not necessarily about these hot starts or hot beginnings. It's to take you from one thing to the other. That's what a mutable sign does. It takes us, if you think about it in terms of the season, it takes us, from spring to summer. It's like, okay, all right, Taurus, let go of spring. We have got to get to summer. You know what I mean? And in terms of Virgo is going to take us into the fall. So it gets us to transition from one thing to another. So one of the things I would encourage you to do is, first of all, say, what can you release? What can you let go of the analysis paralysis on? Even if it's been in the last 28 days, the last lunar cycle, what have you been thinking a lot about? What are some habits that have come up that you're like, okay, this is or it isn't serving me anymore? Where have you seen in the last 28 days that you're like, okay, I can bring a little bit more organization or healing, because organization can be healing as well into my life and in my space. Now we're going to rock and roll with this Virgo energy for the next 2.5 days. So you've got plenty of time to work with what this energy has to offer all the way until we get to Saturday. So you'll have that, think about worker Virgo energy kind of moving into that space. Now, as we get to Thursday, the 16th, we've got a lot of lunar vibration that I'm seeing here. Nothing huge in terms of big transits going on. Well, Mercury's I think that this happens actually a little bit later in the day, so it's going to end up early Friday morning. Okay, on Thursday, what we've really got going, the big news is that, there's Brody, is that the moon in Virgo, Mercury is direct at this particular time, and we see that coming late in the day, early into the next day, we're going to see Mercury come into a square with Pluto. So this is the day where I'm telling you, I think that if something has been a secret, it's been hidden, you've been looking for it, you just you couldn't quite put your finger on it in some way. You're trying to share information and it's the right information, but the other person is not trying to hear it, or vice versa. They're trying to share information with you and you're not trying to hear it. Right? This can be that kind of tension, but the square, remember, is the 911 of our aspects. It's squishing you down. It's saying you have to do something. You're going to take an action under this because you feel like you're under pressure. So one of the other things that I would love for you to consider could be happening here as well, because this is a fixed square, is that you're thinking really intensely or deeply about something and you're ruminating on it. You're not thinking about it. You can even be moving to obsessing about it, or you feel like you really have to convince someone of something, or it really has to be this way. And where this is great for digging down and doing the research, finding out information, letting something be revealed to you, uncover, discover, discard. Manipulation and coercion can also be a part of this vibration, and you want to, of course, avoid that at absolutely all costs. Okay, and so that's going to take us late Thursday, early Friday, just depending on where you are in the world. So let's rock and roll over here into Saturday. Now we're going to see early Saturday that the moon's going to move back into a very short void, of course, but then the moon throughout the weekend is going to travel in Libra. So yay, this is nice. We get a Venus ruled weekend. That's lovely. Venus is comfortable in the vibration of Taurus, so we like it. You like it, I love it kind of vibe. And we want harmony. We want harmony. We want companionship. We want partnership. We want balance. We want, we want to be in the right relationships with the right people. Because the thing about Libra energy is it's just not out here trying to hook up with anybody and their sister, okay? It's not like that. Libra at an evolutionary level partners with other energy because it realizes it can only go so far on its own. It's got to partner in order to have the next lessons, or it's got to partner to go to the next level. Now, because we're also going to see that we've got some We've got some other energies that I think are happening on the table that I think play well into it. We'll see that Jupiter is going to come into conjunction with the sun. We're going to see that Venus is going to come into conjunction with Uranus this day as well. It is a day to be getting stuff done, but you're saying, okay, I'm willing to break out of my thinking, my box, and ask a teacher, get a mentor, partner with someone, another resource, so that I can actually move forward. Because it's kind of this place where it's like, okay, well, if you could have come to the next level, you probably would have done it by now, right? Where do you need to be popped out of your box or out of your thinking or out of an old set of habits or something like that, where you can, now it's a blessing and you can ask for help. You can join that course. You can teach a course yourself, help other people find their way to their expansion, right? Because when the sun and Jupiter come together, first of all, it's like a magnifying glass gets put on whatever you've been thinking that you want to expand. So it goes, and you really get the big picture of it. But what I think is challenging about that particular Cazimi energy is that the magnifying glass can be too big and you're like, whoa, I don't know how to take in this whole thing. So I need someone to show me, okay? Now, the other thing to keep in mind about the magnifying glass is, when you're looking at a map and you put the magnifying glass here, it makes here bigger. But if you put it over here, it makes here bigger. So what you focus on will grow. Okay, and that is just an energetic principle, but I think that the Jupiter in conjunction with the sun will definitely bring that massively to your attention. So if you're focusing on going in a direction, learning, being taught, expanding your horizons, you'll go there. If you're focusing on the overwhelm, this is a day that you may be able to do that and to go there. Now, your Venus and Uranus in this conjunction, this is interesting because remember, Venus is an attracting energy. It's just pulling in, and here we are with all this partnership energy going as well. You may attract some of the most unusual ideas, unusual people, unusual solutions into your life, but you're like, yeah, this works. This could work. Or you're studying something that is in a realm you wouldn't have normally been there. For us, we study astrology all the time. Maybe you hear something about human design, or you hear something in finance that you're like, oh my gosh, that makes complete sense with what's going on with my astrology. So, be open, be willing, make space for your life and the universe to surprise and delight you this week, because I think it's absolutely available. All right, now when we get to Sunday, we've got some busy aspects here. First of all, it's going to be later in the day on Sunday, but we're going to see the sun come into a sextile with Neptune. Now, this is a little bit of a dissolving energy, but more than anything, I think that it's the willing dissolving of the ego. We're in our last days of Taurus season here, and so it's like, okay, dream the dream that you want. Dream the space of what you want in an intangible way. Hold your vision, create your vision boards if that's what you're into. Play, be in the pleasure, be in the play of what it is that you want to call into your life. Let your cares, let the challenges be swept away. Let them be dissolved for a time so that you can hold the vibration. We have to also create and be creative. We were built and made and structured to be creative. So when we're not giving ourselves that time to play and to be easy and to create, it's like the life force can kind of be cut off from us. And we need that in order to speak brilliantly to the structures that we want to build. So through a playful, creative, dream-like, fantasy-like, using your imagination space, we bring things in to a physical reality. And that's the conversation between Taurus and between Pisces energy, between that earth and between that water. Now, any one of you guys out there that is really like, you do art, you act, you paint, you do poetry, this is your day. Like this is your day. There's going to be like an absolute highlight on those particular kinds of things. Now, as we're going to close out the day, late Sunday, heading into Monday morning, the 20th, which I'll talk about it a lot more next week, but it does set the tone for a different kind of week going into the 20th. Not bad, but a different kind of week, because we're going to see that Mars is in conjunction with the with the north node, we're going to see that Mars is opposing the south node. Now, Mars is action. It's action, what I'm doing, what I desire, what I want, what I'm moving towards, right? Like I'm in action with Mars here. Now, conjunct that north node. The north node is the destiny point. So typically, when we see anything conjunct the north node, it brings in a person, or it brings in an activity, or it pulls in an energy that it literally energizes you forward. Now with Mars here, it's about energizing your action forwards towards what you want to build, towards your new identity, towards Aries, what I'm willing to fight for. Now, we've talked a lot on this channel about what's been going on with the Aries and Libra nodes. The Libra South node, where there's been too much codependence or too much making everyone else happy, maybe really getting pulled out from you, where it's like, okay, hold on. What am I holding on to that I'm not in right relationship to it anymore, and I need to let that go, and I need to go the other direction. I need to go more towards the me. But I go towards the me, not just to choose me and it's all about me and, poo on you back there. I do me in a way that is so authentic and so honest that allows me to align with you. And it becomes this interdependence. Not this me and we, but the interdependence of what's going on here, right? So not the separation. But typically a person, the perfect phrase, the perfect symbology will show up. But I'm telling you, my full experience, you guys, with the North Node is that typically a person comes along and maybe they're in your life for 3 minutes and they say the one thing and you go, I am going to do that. Right? Or they're in your life for the next 10 years and it's like, that was really awesome. Whatever it is, you don't have to look for it. You don't have to worry about it. All you need to do is make space for your life in the universe to surprise and delight you. Be willing to say yes. Be willing to look at and work on you, Aries, and your identity and how that is impacting the things that and that you partner with other people on. Make sure you're moving with grace. Make sure you're moving with love to the very best of your ability. All right, my beautiful friends, I hope you have a gorgeous week. Make sure you check out your Pluto and retrograde video. If you haven't watched your forecast for May, please make sure that you check it out. And oh my gosh, the beautiful Nadia Shah and I did a gorgeous video on Neptune leaving Pisces, moving into Aries, some things to really be thinking about. It's a gorgeous, fun video. I love her. And we've got another video coming along. And guess who said yes, they would join us? The beautiful Michelle Knight. So we'll be bringing you some beautiful content soon. So make sure you check out those videos next. I love you. And I'll see you next week.